I'd like to wrap up, Honourable Speaker, talking about education. The throne speech states, average per pupil funding is now over $8,900, the highest ever, even with an increase of 10,000 students in the past 2 years. Well, BC's per pupil funding is $1,000 lower than the national average. Since the time this Premier was Education Minister in 2002, BC has gone from the second best funded education system in Canada to the second worst. And again, I quote from the throne speech. This government has worked with the Teachers Federation to achieve the longest negotiated settlement in history, ensuring 6 years of labor peace in our classrooms so that our children can learn without interruption. Like this was some sort of fun picnic that the government had with the teachers and the government. Not only did this Premier deliberately provoke a strike with BC teachers in 2012, she oversaw the longest school strike in BC's history in 2014. When the Premier was Education Minister in 2002, she illegally ripped up teachers' contracts, taking away their right to bargain for class size and composition. For 15 years, her government spent millions to battle BC teachers in court. In the end, it took the Supreme Court of Canada less than 20 minutes to decide the Premier had it wrong all along. But now a generation of BC kids spent their time in our public education system in overcrowded and under-supported classrooms because of this Premier's decisions. And Honourable Speaker, I'll return to the theme of broken promises. Throne speech says, to keep our students safe, your government has committed $1.7 billion in new infrastructure over the next 3 years and invested $1.3 billion in more than 160 completed school seismic projects, with more to come over the next 3 years. Well, in 2005, the BC Liberal government promised all schools would be seismically upgraded by 2020. In 2015, they pushed that deadline back to 2025 and 2030 for schools in Vancouver. Before the last election, this government promised 45 high-risk schools would be seismically upgraded by 2016. The Premier is now using excuses like low enrollment to delay these necessary upgrades. As of January 2017, 118 schools haven't even started to receive seismic upgrades that they muchly need. And that includes the Prince Rupert Middle School, where students are waiting to be assessed, lacking support from specialist teachers, complex classroom compositions, and they're experiencing overcrowding, safety concerns in labs and shop classes and foods especially. Secondary students can't get all of the classes they need to graduate unless they complete online learning, and parents are outraged. But let me return to the seismic upgrades. At Prince Rupert Middle School, parents, students, and teachers, they need to see follow-through. Prince Rupert has 3 empty school buildings due to school closures to reach that so-called 95% capacity that's required. And the only middle school, PRMS, desperately needs replacement. Still, families are waiting. The building needs $8 million in seismic upgrades and $9 million just to upgrade the delayed building repairs. A new building would cost $22 million, and I'm hearing parents' concerns weekly. It's dire. The building is sinking in the rear because it's on a toxic dump site. The asbestos is still in the walls. Fumes from the sludge below are seeping into the classrooms. And they used to dump the toxic sludge out, but after 1995, all the fish in the nearby stream died, and so now it still festers underneath the students' classrooms. Now, WorkSafe did test the substance and deemed it safe to stay below the classrooms, but parents and teachers are questioning these fumes. They bubble up intermittently, and rooms need to be vacated. This is happening right now in Prince Rupert. They are working with an air quality specialist because parents don't believe they tested the gases adequately. Staff and students are experiencing reactions such as lung and asthma issues. Honourable Speaker, the school desperately needs replacement. Honourable Speaker, the throne speech is quite vacuous, and I believe failing everyday British Columbians, especially and most notably our children. Thank you.